So I went ahead and laid out what I believe to be the perfect little mobile toolkit. Welcome back to the Lost Cause Ranch. Around here, we have lots of Land Rovers, which means we get to do lots of repairs on said Land Rovers. But what exactly does this bucket have to do with that? We happen to like to have a lot of fun with those Land Rovers, which entails trips all over the country, including sometimes trips trailering Land Rovers with Land Rovers. Which brings us to this 5-gallon bucket. We happen to have another 20+ hour journey heading out to Maine for the winter romp, so I think it's time to update our mobile toolkit. Now, normally what I would do is about 15 minutes before leaving on a trip, I would take this bag and just go ahead and raid the toolboxes, throwing in what I think we may need on that particular trip. Now, I've been chasing after cars all over the country for the better part of my adult life, and I'm older than I think. So I have a pretty good handle on what we need to travel with us. But it is 2025, a brand new year, and contrary to the way the shop currently looks, I want to try and get my life a little more organized. I mean, baby steps. So I went ahead and laid out what I believe to be the perfect little mobile toolkit for my situation. And the basis of that toolkit starts with a bucket from my favorite store. We'll get to exactly why I think a 5-gallon bucket is the best carrying device a little bit later in the video. But right here is everything I want to carry with me. We're gonna go through this, but like a lot of my projects, I want to crowdsource this. And if there is anything you think I missed that you feel is a necessity while traveling, let me know in the comments, because I want to be as prepared as possible. And all this stuff here is what I believe to be a complete to-go kit that is reasonably sized and not too freaking heavy. I mean, we don't need to bring the entire shop with us every single trip. What actually prompted me to put this little kit together is these little zip bags that Harbor Freight just came out with. I'm a cheap tool junkie. I check Harbor Freight's new tool list every single day, and these things piqued my interest. These are a 12x7 bag with a wide bottom, and we went ahead and picked ourselves up 5 of these guys. We went ahead and divided our kit into, you guessed it, 5 separate little piles. We'll start with the obvious, a set of 3/8 sockets, ratchet, extensions with a pretty decent coverage. We have shallow SAE, and then we also have deep and shallow metric, with a few extensions that we can obviously stack together if we need to reach somewhere way down in there. Also have a couple spark plug sockets. Then over here we have our 1/2-inch selection. Once again, we have SAE or fractional and metric, with a couple impact sockets, including a 27mm one, which is important in my world because a lot of the Land Rovers use that behemoth. Obviously a 1/2-inch ratchet, extension. Then I also take this neat little extendable breaker bar, and along with that breaker bar we carry 2 little special sockets. These are flip sockets. This particular one has 17mm on this side, flip it over, 19mm. Then we got 21 and 23. That covers a lot of our wheel removal on the side of the road. So let's go ahead and toss these into the respective bags. Now remember, I said baby steps on organization. The way I did that, I probably just made a little bit of a headache for myself whenever we need to go find the socket size we need. But that, like I always say, is a future Joe problem. We also need to have a set of wrenches. This is a complete set. And you know why it is a complete set? Because we bring an adjustable wrench along with us that covers us from nothing all the way up to 1.5 inches, which I believe is like 38mm in the correct form of measurement. And this is where we start to get into a little bit more of the oddball tools I like to bring along. An assortment of pliers, we got our channel locks, a couple side cutters, nothing too odd about that. And we bring a small vice grip, and then I don't even know what this kind of vice grip is called. It kind of looks like a whale head, but that guy is one of my favorite styles of locking pliers. The nose pinches down tight, just like a normal vice grip, but we have this unique wide shape that when we open it up all the way, gives us a massive amount of adjustability. This guy has saved me numerous different times in and out of the shop. Then we bring a punch and a chisel. And for that punch and chisel, we bring this little 2.5 pound drilling hammer. This guy is convenient because it fits right in the bag, while the 2.5 pound head providing a lot of oomph for those technical taps. Then we have these two neat little things that work well for travel kits, both from Stanley. One's a Fat Max, but this guy is a little handle that accepts these 3 files. These are a little more rare use scenarios, but when you need them, and they're invaluable, and each of them just slide right into that handle, so you can use whichever one suits the job. And when they break apart, you guessed it, they fit inside the bag. If they didn't separate, they don't. Then we have our other little handle and a couple saw blades. I love this little guy as well. We bring along a metal hacksaw blade, and that slips right in to the handle and is infinitely adjustable for the length you need. But what's neat about this handle is not only does it carry a hacksaw blade, it accepts any sawzall blade right in there as well. So I bring a demo wood saw blade in case we need to do some logging. All that, surprisingly, fits right inside of one of those little Harbor Freight bags. Now for our last bag, we have our miscellaneous items. You can never bring along too much duct tape. We also bring some electrical tape, some thread tape, of course, a selection of zip ties. I use 8-inch ones because you can just daisy chain them together if you need something longer. Permanent marker, a light because conveniently you usually break down in the dark. Bring a length of wire, and for that wire, I also bring a small little selection of butt connectors. We have a selection of fuses of all different varieties, some self-tappers, and the king of them all, Scotch-Lock. I like to bring some grocery bags for garbage or miscellaneous, some Ziploc bags, some rubber gloves, because sometimes it gets messier than you like. I also take a pair of little work gloves, a little sample pack of tub of towels, some safety glasses. I'm not good at practicing wearing safety glasses in the shop all the time, but when you're on the road and you're underneath something, knocking stuff around, it's nice to be able to see after you get the thing back on the road again. Then I also bring a little bit of hardware. There's no rhyme or reason to what I have here. Just makes me feel better having it. And that, once again, packs away nicely in our little zip bag. And to round out the rest of what we carry, we have a roll of shop towels. We have one of these fancy little flexible tool trays. This is a Master Force from Menards. This is nice just to throw underneath the car to collect all the bits you're removing. They just kind of sit nicely anywhere you throw them. Then I have this neat little kit from our friends Ike and Steve at the Underpowered Hour. This is a Chapman precision screwdriver set, special edition 1947, and this kit was put together by the Underpowered guys as a good little kit that services series Land Rovers. So it is a little screwdriver set with various bits and a little ratcheting driver. The only thing I added to this set is a little 10mm socket. Otherwise, this works nicely as our screwdriver set. An honorable mention of something that I now take on every trip after nearly being stranded going to pick up the free LR4 in Tennessee. This is our battery charger. This saved my bacon when Sasha and I were on the road in the middle of the night. Sasha's having a little midnight snack. I guess we just sit here and chill out for a couple hours. If you look right back there, you can see the yellow thing right there. That is my Sneaky Pete new charger, charging up the original battery. We're almost at 25%. Sasha found the resting spot. So not exactly the original plan, but I think we have a plan nonetheless. This doesn't fit in the bucket, but this gets thrown in the back of the vehicle whenever we're on the road. I almost forgot this because it was in my pocket, but this is just a cheap multi-tool, and that goes in with the miscellaneous stuff. That way we have a pocket knife, a pliers. Sometimes a multi-tool is all you need to get out of a sticky situation. And that brings us to the bucket itself. The 5-gallon bucket is what I chose to house all these tools for a couple different reasons. It has a handle, nice and portable. It's tough, you can toss it somewhere, and if you break it, it's frickin' $3 to replace. Now the thing that makes this one even more useful is we have a Gamma Seal lid installed on the top. These are airtight, watertight lids for 5-gallon buckets. So let's load this guy up. Start in the center, and then just work our way around with our bags. Then this is too long to fit in the bag, so we slide that right in. Then our tray and the screwdriver set sits right on top. We're sealed up. And all that stuff that I had laid out on the table fits right in this guy. And not only that, the biggest thing with the 5-gallon bucket is now if we need to drain any fluids and capture them, we have a liquid tight container with a lid that we can dump oil, coolant, whatever we need right into here, and we're good to go. So in just a 15-inch tall, 12-inch diameter space, we carry pretty much everything we should ever need to do some roadside or trailside repairs. There is one last thing I want to do. Back to our organization front, with our little bags, they have a little place that we can stick a label so we know what's inside them without having to open them up. But that label being on the side does us no good when they're in the bucket. Those should work. That'll make finding which bag is which much easier. There is more than one wrench in there though. And for you guys across the pond that use the metric system, your ratchets. Over here we label them 1/4 inch, 3/8, 1/2 inch, 3/4 for the drive size. I've always been curious, are they still fractional over there? Or do you have like 10 millimeter, 6 millimeter? Always seemed odd to me. So we'll pack this guy away, and I have one last thing I want to do, and that is weigh this. Now with me and the bucket, we are 189.2. If we set the bucket down, you should never ask someone their weight, but I'm 149.4. So all in all, not too shabby. This guy is roughly 40 pounds. Now I think this is a pretty good kit while only being 40 pounds and taking up very little space. If there is anything you think I missed that you feel is a necessity while traveling, let me know in the comments. But with that being said, that is Joe's take on what you should take along with your Land Rovers. Appreciate you guys watching, appreciate you subscribing, and we will see you on the next one. And if any of you guys are going out to the Maine Winter Romp in a couple weeks, let me know down below. I'd love to see you out there.